Hello ladies and gentlemen of SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Simulant Sowers, and we are jumping into a Kaladesh Draft League. So what have we got going on here? I think the strongest two cards in this pack are probably the Whirler Virtuoso and the Underhanded Designs. I like Aetherborn Marauder a lot too. This actually leaves you a little bit more open because you can kind of just jam it into any black deck. Whereas Underhanded Designs is like, yo, you need to play some artifacts. I'm not really sold on taking a two-color card, and I'm also not super sold on blue-red. I usually end up splashing this in green-blue or green-red. Although I suppose you could do something. The problem is there's like a lot of Artifacts Matters card in red and no Fabricate cards in red, so you kind of end up a little wrecked. I think the most powerful card here is probably the Virtuoso. I'm going to take the Underhanded Designs though because it's very close. Like if I'm wrong about this being better, it's not by much. And this early we can build around it or abandon it. It's not so strong that we have to be like, oh, we're forcing this. We can just kind of let it go if that's where we want to be. So somebody took a rare, no signaling porpoises going on here. We can look at Era of Innovation and try to do like a blue-black Artifacts Matters card. We could also just take the Voltaic Brawler and see if green-red is open and go in that direction. There's some argument for taking Subtle Strike. It is a very powerful card, but I think if you're second picking a Subtle Strike, you're going a little too heavy in on your first pick. So let's pretend we don't have an Underhanded Design. What would our first pick be here? It might honestly be the Pima Outrider. Because like this says, you could be playing black and green. And like the same issue with gold cards is here. Like there's not the black-green gold card sucks. I'm willing to go Pima Outrider. If you're trying to do cool combos, I could see taking the Era of Innovation. The Brawler's very hard to beat if you land it on turn 2. But like I actually like the 2/1 Death Touch Snakes. And if this is going to be open, we'll go into it. If it's not, we'll do something else. Here we've got an interesting little argument. Like Gearseeker Serpent, if you can get it out quickly, is very powerful. Whisperweaver Angel is also very powerful. The Serpent kind of says we're probably, well, I guess both of these say we're abandoning one of these two. But neither of them are so powerful that we have to. There is a reasonable black uncommon, but I've not found this guy to be fantastic, just good. I also like Skyskiff quite a bit in Sealed. I haven't found the draft deck for it other than like red-white vehicles. So it's basically a question of, do I want to go into green, black, white-ish, or bluish? I think I just like the Angel. I think this is more of a signal than a Serpent. So we could easily end up with these. We'll see. Man, this is some bizarre packs because I like Chandra's Pyrohelix a lot. You're just not playing a red aggressive deck if you're not taking the Thriving Grubs. Edgecrafters are very good too. Like you're going to need some 2s in draft. I could see taking the Edgecrafters, but that kind of puts us in green, white, 4 and 6 drops. It's not a great place to be. I don't like the Rats, and we haven't seen any impressive black cards, so we're probably not doing this. This is just not the 2-drop I want. I want Seed Sculptors. I guess if we're going to get past good green cards, maybe we take those and see if we can stay green and then figure out what else is open and go from there. Am I supposed to be just green-blue? Because like Aether Meltdown is very strong. There's a little bit of a, hey, take the Ibex here. But green-blue opens up a lot of stuff. You can do some cool energy stuff. You can splash some cards. It's like Herald of the Fair sucks. Thriving Ibex is fine. Yeah, we're kind of all out there, but we'll figure out where we're going. Don't you worry. Turtle can be quite good in draft with modules, with other energy producing cards. We don't have any of that yet. Whereas I main deck the first Appetite up for the Unnatural all the time. I'm not certain whether or not I'm forcing green. I might be. Because I think we just slam the turtle now and see if we can kind of do some blue-green energy stuff. I'll probably let that go. There's a seed sculptor. That's a really good sign for us. Blue-black might be open, but black doesn't seem to be. But getting this here, I think means we're doing something. Select for inspection is just shy of playable for me. So I'm going to take it and kind of hope we don't play it. Again, not really seeing much from the other colors. I've played the scavenger, but I'm not in love with it. The brawler coming back and us not being super committed to blue maybe means we should do something like that. We could be in danger of not having enough playables. Wild Wanderer sets us up to be able to kind of splash some shenanigans. I think if we were 100% like, okay, we're green-blue, let's go, we'd probably take the Blade Master or even the Hermit here. But I'm going to grab a Wanderer. It's acceptable, and it means that we could potentially splash a Meltdown. Like, if we open another Brawler, I'll just say, all right, we're green-red. We've wiffle-waffled around a little bit on our colors, but like this guy went all the way around the table and came back to us. We saw, what, one set of Grubs and one set of Chandra's Fury, Pia's Fury, I don't remember what it is. Chandra's Forked Bolt. I don't think I'm going to be low enough on playables that we want a Wingsmith, and we're not doing artifact shenanigans, so I'll take the sideboard takedown. I really don't like failed inspection or larger than life, but since we know we're green, we'll take the larger than life for signaling porpoises. That is one big something. I can't quite tell what it is. I'm going to assume it's a cat, because if I could make something huge, it would certainly be a cat. Very unlikely we play a curio vendor, but again, for signaling porpoises, I don't want to send a blue card out there. So we're green X. We're green X with a smuggler's copter. That's great. If that wasn't here, we'd probably have to have a discussion about the Sky Whale and the Rhino. I think I would take the Rhino over the Sky Whale with this start, but like there's no reason not to take smuggler's copter and be super thrilled that we've mostly paid for a draft and our deck is exponentially better for having it. We could also, again, look at taking a high priority red card like a Welding Sparks or something, things of that nature. But this looks like a great start. Madcap Experiment, not the droid I'm looking for. I would be happy with the Pyrohelix, but Nature's Way we're very interested in. This also plays very well with the 2/1 Death Touch artifact dudes. You can give it a Death Touch and kill whatever you want. But just a very powerful spell, exactly what we want for this deck. There's a Malfunction, which is not as good most of the time. It can occasionally be better, like you can take out vehicles with it. But I think I like the Nature's Way. And again, we'd have to be blue and not sure that we're green for me to want that. I have played with Wildest Dreams before, and it has been exceptionally okay. Like, we're pretty far off from being able to play the Sabotage. I think I'm going to play it, although you kind of have to recognize this is, if you don't have good removal, this spell gets significantly worse. Like currently we're looking at a Nature's Way and an Appetite. It's kind of bad in blue-green, because like you're playing stuff like Aether Meltdown and Malfunction, and those don't go to the graveyard. I think it's still reasonable here, but you've got to spend 5 mana to draw 2 cards. The game's got to go really long for that. If we were 100% blue-green, I'd take the Theorist here, but there's a chance we get past like 2 premium, like here's 2 red uncommons, and I would play this and might try to fit Sabotage in, but like if we get past 2 good red removal spells, I'll be happy I have this, because we could potentially recycle them. However, if I knew we were green-blue, I think I would be more interested in the Scry dude. Okay, it looks like we've got the opportunity to go red. Can I get enough energy going to get this Hellion to do a thing? So I've got energy here. We can probably pick up some of the 2/1 energy dudes. I have not played with this card because it doesn't really usually fit what I want to do. Safe pick's probably the Cobra. I don't think I want to take the safe pick here. I think this is my signal to get in on red, and I'm not sure whether I prefer the Hellion or the Pyrohelix. If we can get some more energy cards, the Hellion's probably great. Like if you turn 3 it, God, can you imagine this guy into that guy, into some energy producers? I'm going to try this Hellion out. I might be crazy. I don't like the card, but I want to see if I'm just wrong about it. Do like a Pyrohelix. It's a Midnight Oil. This card is very good. I don't think it's worth saying, oh, okay, we're black. I'm going to take another Pima Outrider. They win games. But Midnight Oil is very strong. I like seeing all these Pyrohelixes. I hope we can actually get one. Fateful Showdown I like. I have played with this card too. It's not consistent in the amount of damage that it'll do, but it gets slightly better when you have cards like this that are like bad top decks. And Wildest Dreams sometimes is a bad top deck. You can even like discard your bomb and then plan to get it back with this. So maybe we're doing something here. Maybe. I don't think I'm going to want a Mastodon, but I certainly don't want a Fireweaver. That just doesn't do what we're doing. We're little short playables here, but that helps. That helps. I will take all of the Pima Outriders I can get. All right, this is playable. Would like to have a Built to Smash if I can get one. I think that's something I would be interested in. But sure, we'll take a Gremlin in case that's relevant. I know the Puzzle Knot gives me a lot of energy, but that's not really the way that I want it. Cowl Prowler is kind of not likely something we're going to want to main deck, but I'm going to put a pile of cards here that we can main deck. So like we can play these if we have to. I'm pretty happy with where things are going. Like it looks like we don't have enough artifacts for this dude, right? But if we have this dude in play, we can just make the servos off of these guys and get him for some hits. And if we get like a Built to Smash, it gets a little better too. How sad is it that I don't want the Cat Monkey? If this wasn't designed for me, I don't know who it was designed for. I'm just going to pass both of these. If my neighbors haven't guessed it, they can know from here that, hey, maybe you should be playing those colors. Take a Fog for the board. Don't mind that. Don't mind if I do. Oh, wow. Hydra and Cub and Hunt the Weak and Pima Outrider and Welding Sparks. Like if we took these 5 cards and then just played like some mediocre stuff, I think we've got a great deck. Every time I have played against the Hydra, I have been super sad, but I think I'm supposed to take the Cub here. This is really close, and I could be wrong. I could easily be very wrong. But like the Cub makes the Hellion dream a real thing. Like, can you imagine curving Cub into Hellion? And it gives us more energy to spend on this, more energy to spend on that. I think I want the Cub. It's also Dutch. Like it's a fat cat that keeps growing. But I really think we could win a lot of games if I just took this pack. I don't think you're wrong if you go for the Hydra, but looking here, we've already got a lot going on here. So I don't think that's quite what I want. This Wanderer isn't looking amazing because we don't have something that we're just dying to splash currently. I could see a Tune with Aether. It makes the Wildest Dreams a little better. I think I'm supposed to take the Renegade though. Like we can use the energy to fuel other stuff or potentially get energy for other things. And this guy's been okay. If I took the Attune, the reason I'm not going for that here is I would probably play it over a land and play 16. And I think we need to make sure we hit this to 23 before I start replacing lands. Welding Sparks looks like an easy pickup here. Durable Handicraft I like. There's a problem though, in that there's just a Welding Sparks here. And Welding Sparks is so good. Like at that point, our Wildest Dreams is just great, and I can put this Mastodon in here and not be super embarrassed. Handicraft can be very good, but I'm not taking it here. I want the removal. I also want more dudes. Like at this point, I can probably pass this and take the Spontaneous Artist. Yeah, would I rather have a 3/3 haste that can give something else haste if it's relevant, or a 3/3 haste that can sometimes be a 2-power haste dude and a 1 dude? I'm just going to grab the artist here. Sandwich Artist. Yeah, I would really love to get this Aether in here, but I want to get this count close to 15, and the Infiltrator does that. Have I passed a Built to Smash and didn't grab one? Because I really like one. But I don't think we're going to get there. I mentioned before we would like the Cobra to go with the Appetite for the Unnatural. It makes our Welding Sparks a little better. It makes our Gremlins a little better. Not with the Appetite for the Unnatural, the Nature's Way. But I think we're pretty happy with that too. All right. So the deck has shaped up. If I can replace this with like a 1 Wayfaring Giant or whatever, I'd love to. I don't know that we get the opportunity to do that. If we're going to play one more card, it can be one of these, and I wouldn't hate that. I don't think we're interested in an Eager Construct. I don't quite have that many Artifact Matters cards. I might be interested in a Spark. Or we could just play this last Pima Outrider and be good to go. Because it's Pima Outrider. It rides out on its golden cat chariot. Isn't it great? So big dudes, removal, we're good to go. Not interested in any of this. And I've already got extra Gremlins, so sure. Maybe we have to go hyper aggressive against one particular opponent. We can play these larger than lives. I don't think we're in the market for any of this, to be honest. I'm not expecting to see another playable, but if we do, it'd be great. I don't think I can fit a stash in either, but sure. Uncommon for dusting, right? Last pick, Pyrohelix? That doesn't make any sense. I may have to try to fit that in there. Cause it's good. I could take the Wildest Dreams out and be pretty happy. Like Fateful Showdown doesn't look like it, but it kind of does something for you here. If you know your deck tops out at 6, you can hold lands after 6 and get some value out of it. Or sometimes toss some stuff that you just can't cast. I like the idea of Wildest Dreams buying these back, but it's a very late game plan. And the way this deck is shaped up, it doesn't really look like it needs a late game plan. The other option is cut the Wanderer, because I don't want that and just run 14 creatures. That might be better. There's some anti-synergy here because Wildest Dreams wants you to play all your lands and Fateful Showdown wants you not to. But I think I can kind of get behind that. We've also got some interesting mana in that we want to hit double green and double red, but I'm going to go 9/8 forests because we really want to have green on turn 2. And the only double red we have is Fateful Showdown, which I can't envision many scenarios where you want to do that on turn 4, although I suppose it is technically possible. All right. Do I think that a Wanderer would be better than a Mastodon? Because I'm not in love with this. I mean, it makes Welding Sparks a little bigger. It does block most of the format. I'd swap it for a Pima Outrider if I can, but I can't. So I think I'm pretty cool with this. Best red-green deck ever? Probably not, but pretty good. And also, Thopter. Get to the Thopter! All right, I'm going to sleeve this up, and we'll see you for round 1 in just a moment.